Good morning, dear children. I'm Dimpy Miss from the school LP Savani Vidya Bhavan. I'm going to teach you guys organization of commerce. So, children, here you can see on your screen chapter number 2, Business Service 1. Inside the same, we will discuss insurance, meaning and principle. Insurance, meaning and principle. Yes, children, this is the meaning of insurance. Point number 2.1.1. It is a written agreement between insuree and insurer which promises to pay the pre-decided amount according to the pre-decided calculation, a compensation against a pre-decided amount of premium in the event of pre-decided loss. That means we are talking about the pre-decided thing in agreement of insurance. Whatever you are deciding for the future, but whatever you are deciding, this is the pre-decided things, the event of loss, the premium which you are supposed to pay, how much compensation you will get, the calculation has done on that basis, even the year, for how many year you are taking the insurance, that is also mentioned in the agreement. And the insurer will inform and give all kind of information to insuree, and the contract between both of them is done accordingly. After reflection of all pre-decided things, that means amount, the calculation of compensation, event of loss, etc. Everything comes under the same. Now the last content in the same pages, insurance contract in the written form is known as insurance policy. Insurance contract is a written, and this is called the insurance policy. Actually, the children, the thing is that insurance, whatever you are taking the insurance, this agreement is done in the written form only between the insurer and the insuree. Who is the insuree? The person who is taking the insurance is called insuree, and the person who is giving the opportunity is called insurer. I hope so you have understood the meaning of insurance. Yes, children. Now you can see the principle. Actually, there are four kind of principle. The image you can see on your screen. See, the root of insurance are connected with the society, and it is an agreement between the two parties. So, insurance is not a simple or ordinary contract, and it cannot be related to law of contract. It is a special form of contract, and hence, apart from law of contract, the following specific principles are also applicable. Which are the following specific principle which is applicable in the agreement of insurance? Here on your screen you can see there are four types of principles which you can know about the insurance. First, principle of utmost good faith. Second, principle of indemnity. Third, principle of insurable interest. Fourth, principle of subrogation. Children, first point, that is principle of utmost good faith. Third point, principle of insurable interest. And fourth one, principle of subrogation. This is the simple content. First of all, I will discuss this, and at the last we will discuss the second one, that is principle of indemnity, because this is most important one, and some of the point this is not applicable, and we will discuss this with the help of three example, three situation. So let's go for it. Yes, children, on your screen you can see the principle of utmost good faith. Before discussing this content, just hear what I am trying to say. The main object of an insurance contract cannot be making profit. The basic law of insurance is a social concept. The basic law of insurance is a social concept. It is only to have a compensation for the financial loss. Fine. So we are supposed to think about the same. We are not thinking about only profit. We are supposed to abide by the social concept. Even this is the only concept which we will get the financial compensation at the time we are facing loss. Now let's see the content which reflect on your screen. The parties involved in the insurance contract should have mutual and complete faith. The parties, those who are involved in the insurance contract, should have a mutual and complete faith. While entering into the contract, both the party, insurer and insuree, should provide all information regarding the insurance product. They both are entering into the contract, both the party, but the information should be provided by the insurer, and whatever query is there in their mind, insuree is having a full authority to ask any kind of question related with the product. Then, third point, while taking an insurance policy, even if the information is not asked by the either party, both should be provided it. That means if insuree is not asking any query related with the product because they are not aware of the same, they don't know what to ask the query, so that is the duty of insurer to provide all kind of information related with the product to the either party. That means to the party to whom they are giving the insurance agreement. Then the fourth point, any insurance agreement entered not having the necessary information amount to fraud, and it is against the principle of utmost good faith. See children, the name of this principle is principle of utmost good faith. That means you should keep the good faith. You are supposed to reflect the faith. Fine. The party, those who are entering into the contract, they are liable to ask any kind of question, and the insurer, those who are providing the insurance policy to the party, that is their duty to provide any kind of information which is there related with the product. Fine. But in case they are not giving all kind of information related with the product, although they are not asking, although you are not informing them, so this contract become void, this contract become fraud. So that is duty of insurance to provide all kind of information to insuree, and that is insurer's duty to ask any kind of question related with the product, because they have to pay the premium of the insurance. They are doing the future satisfaction, so they are having rights to ask any kind of question. Then the last one, whenever it comes to be known that the principle of utmost good faith is broken, in case if the principle of utmost good faith is broken, the insurance agreement or policy stands null and void. That means you are breaking up the rule, so you can break the contract, and the insurance cannot get back the premium already paid, and he loses the right of compensation for the risk. That means if you are not aware of the same, although you have paid, suppose you have decided to pay 20 premium. I'm giving an example. You are decided to pay 20 premium. You have paid the 10 premium, but you lied to insurer at any of the point. You lied to insurer. That means you are breaching of the contract. You have broken the contract. You have broken the agreement. So your policy stands as a null or void, and you guys are not having any kind of rights to ask about the compensation. So that means in the principle of utmost good faith, the duty of insurer and insuree is ask any kind of question, and the insurer duty is to provide all kind of information which is related with the product. Fine. I suppose all the point which is considered under the principle of utmost good faith, you guys are aware. Still, that is my personal advice. Look after the textual content. Have any doubt? So definitely we'll discuss in next lecture. Now I'm moving towards the next point. Yes, children. Now on your screen you can see the third point, that is principle of insurable interest. As I have said, the second point, that is principle of indemnity we will discuss at the last. So right now you can see on your screen the third point, that is principle of insurable interest. The insurer must have financial interest in the product insured. The insurer must have financial interest in the product. They are supposed to reflect the interest that they are ready to purchase the product or they are ready to take the insurance for the same product. Example, the owner of the house has financial interest in the house while a tenant of the house does not have financial interest. See, well, I'm the owner of the house, so I will take the interest to take the insurance policy about my house because this is my own property. But you guys are, you can take an example of any of the student. You guys are my tenant. You are supposed to take interest to take a policy of insurance. I don't think so, because you are the tenant of house. Why you are supposed to take interest to take policy of insurance? Fine. So similarly, the principle of insurable interest is the owner of the house has financial interest for the house because that is or this is his or her property, while we are supposed to consider the tenant. They are not supposed to take the policy because they are not having any financial interest, because that property is not a tenant's property. Fine. So the principle of insurable interest is all about the person, those who are a owner of the product, they are reflecting the interest, then only they can take the policy of insurance, or else it is up to them. Now we are moving towards the next point. Yes children, now you are looking at the next page, that is principle of subrogation. Principle of subrogation. When a policy is taken for an insurable product, and if it is fully damaged, the product is fully damaged, when the insurance company pays the compensation, insurance company is paying for the compensation, the fully damaged product is, the ownership should be passed towards the insurance company. For example, you are taking a car, that is a vehicle, you have took the insurance for the same, it is fully damaged. Now the insurance company is paying for your damage. That means the insurance company is giving you the compensation to the damaged product which is available. That damaged product's ownership directly passes towards the insurance company. Then next point, this principle is not applicable in the case of life insurance. The principle of subrogation is not applicable in the case of life insurance. Children, this will ask for your 1 marks. Even I am going to ask about 3 marks. Explain which principle is not applicable in the life insurance policy. So you are supposed to reflect the principle of subrogation with an example. Fine. I hope so. I have done with principle of subrogation. Now we are moving towards the next principle. Children, now you can see the principle of indemnity. Children, this is the most important principle according to the insurance part. That is why I am explaining this point at the last. In your textbook, this is a second concept, but still I am explaining this at the last. Listen to me carefully. Now, insurance contract is made to compensate for the loss which is incurred by the insurer. So, the main objective of insurance is the principle of indemnity. The main objective of insurance is the principle of indemnity. This principle is used to decide how much the insurance company will have to pay to insuree in the event of loss which is incurred. Now, any person who takes an insurance policy can get only compensation for the loss and he cannot earn profit. Any person who takes an insurance policy can get only compensation for the loss and he cannot earn profit. Insurance company will compensate you guys. Fine. But while you are incurring the loss, then only, if you have incurred the loss, then only they will compensate you guys. You are not supposed to get the profit. Now, in other words, he cannot get additional amount over and above the loss incurred. In other word, if I'm going to say that he cannot get additional amount, whatever you are expecting, whatever you have paid the premium, that only you are supposed to get at the time of loss. Now, it is not applicable to life insurance. Children, again, the principle of indemnity is not applicable in life insurance. Fine. If an insurance takes a policy for a product at a lower value than the original value, it is implied that he will proportionately get a lesser amount and a part of the loss will have to be borne by him. That means the mean of this statement is what? See, if your product is for 5 lakh, if your product is for 5 lakh, might be you will get the partial amount, that means proportionate amount. Might be you will get half of the amount. Might be you will get the full amount. But if you are expecting that the product is for 5 lakh and you will get 6 or 7 lakh, that is not possible. That is not possible. So, while you are taking the insurance for any of the product, according to the principle of indemnity, if you are taking the insurance for any of your product which is for rupees 5 lakh, there is a 3 condition which we will discuss with the help of example. But you will get the lesser amount, proportionate amount, or the exact amount. Exact amount, that means 5 lakh, but not beyond the limit, not more than 5 lakh. You will not get more than 5 lakh. Fine. How you are supposed to understand the principle of indemnity? Let's discuss the 3 example which is conditional based. Then only you can understand the principle of indemnity. So let's see the example. Yes, children, we are looking at the conditional base example for principle of indemnity. The A example here you can see, if a person takes an insurance policy for rupees 3 lakh, but the original product is rupees 5 lakh, the original value of the product is rupees 5 lakh, then in the event of complete loss of the product, the insurer will get maximum 3 lakh. Because the product is rupees 5 lakh, I can understand. But you have took the policy of 3 lakh only. And your product is fully damaged. Your product is fully damaged. But you have took the policy of 3 lakh. So at the time of compensation, the insurance company will pay to insurer the maximum amount of 3 lakh. Because he has selected that policy. At the time of complete loss of product, the product is rupees 5 lakh. You are facing the complete loss, but you have took the policy of 3 lakh. So at the time of fully damage, the insurance company will compensate to insuree only rupees 3 lakh. But let's switch to the example B. When a value of product is rupees 5 lakh, but the insuree has insured it only for rupees 3 lakh. And if the product is partially damaged, again the same situation, your product is rupees 5 lakh. You are taking the policy of 3 lakh. But circumstances changes. That means you are facing partially damage of your product. So the estimated amount of the product according to the 2 lakh which you have not took, you have took 3 lakh. So if I am going to get the proportionate amount of 3 lakh, that means the insurance company will compensate you guys for rupees 1,20,000. 1,20,000. The proportionate amount of 3 lakh is rupees 1,20,000, which the insurance company will pay you guys at the time of partial damage of the product. The insurance company is liable to provide you compensation claim according to the policy which you have selected for 3 lakh, but you are facing the partial damage product. So if I am going to give the proportionate example, 2 lakh you are not giving to them, 3 lakh you are giving to them, but your product is partially damaged. So at that condition you will get 1,20,000 as your compensation amount. Fine. Now third condition, when a value of the product is rupees 5 lakh and it is insured for the full amount, you are taking the insurance for full amount, that is rupees 5 lakh, and in that event you are facing complete damage of the product, then the insurance company will pay the full amount of rupees 5 lakh to the insuree, because you are taking the fully insurance. Over there in this condition, in third, that means C condition, you are taking the insurance for fully damaged product and fully amount you are paying as a premium to the insurance company. That means in third condition, if your product is fully damaged, the insurance company will provide you the compensation as a full amount. That means full 5 lakh they will provide you as a compensation. We have discussed the three example A, B, C. A1 is fully faced loss, but you are taking the policy of 3 lakh. So at the time of fully damaged product also you will get maximum 3 lakh. B condition, you are taking proportionate one. You are taking proportionate one, that is same. You are paying 3 lakh for 5 lakh product, but you are facing partial damage product. So as per the proportionate example, you will get only 1,20,000 as your compensation amount of the product. Third condition, you are taking fully insurance. That means at the time of complete damage of the product, you will get full compensation amount, that is 5 lakh. Yes children, thank you for the day. I have done with the meaning and principles of insurance. Thank you for the day. Here myself, Dimpy S. Tiwari, and we will continue the next topic in next lecture. Thank you.